culturally do you think we're coming to the end of an era? Socially, economically, I know for sure we are. I'm seeing the real gap in losing the middle class. I mean, I would say we're middle class or maybe a little bit upper middle class, but we're losing so many different levels of our culture and our society. And I'm feeling. I was just in an airport in Edmonton and coming back into Abbotsford and driving around and feeling the anxiety. And I'm a pretty intuitive person. So I really work hard to keep myself grounded in those situations. But I was overhearing conversations and the anger and the frustration and the sadness, and the conversations are still happening. So I'm wondering if this end of an era of our culture, of what's happening, what we're used to in life as we previously know it, is coming to the end of this particular era. I think about the fourth turning. I think about the things that, what do we do when like we're at a stage of life right now that our kids are never going to have this experience. They're going to be growing up in economic downtime. And how do you prepare for that?
Well, I think there's a point that you make, the fourth turning, but the fourth turning isn't just about, an industrial revolution going to a technological revolution. This is also a cultural revolution. We are seeing the end of an era. And I think that if we can embrace the shift and realize that this is the ending of an era, and we just have to accept that and look at it and say, okay, how do we not just survive, but how do we thrive? How do we actually celebrate that ending of an era and consider the eras in a broader picture? It goes back to the Industrial Revolution, and then we look at what happened back even in the 70s and early 80s, and when technology was starting to be the computer. And now we've progressed to this place called AI. And it's freaking people out. So a lot of people are very, very afraid of what's AI is going to bring to the world, and not just the fear of are we going to be cyborgs or some version of that the AI taps into, and we've got AI guard dogs and AI armies and AI uh, writers. And guess what? We look at industries specifically, a big fear around the legal industry right now, and paralegals and those who write articles and bloggers and copywriters. And there's a lot of people going, I'm going to lose my job. But I want to go back, and yes, that is all true, by the way. I believe that is really going to be what unfolds. But if you only look at it there, you're not honoring the shift of the era. And if you don't honor it, if you pretend not to know, if you choose to ignore, you will in fact be the fallout of that. I can go back and consider, you and I think about this. I mean, when we started looking at what was happening with the internet, we were early adopters of the internet. Like, we have never feared, we've often been early adopters. If I have any regrets, and I don't like to use the word regret, but think about, gosh, we were early adopters of the use of it, but we didn't see the opportunity that it would create within it. That might have actually shifted how we decisions we made around business, for example. Like, why didn't we get into the internet business? You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't do that. So my point is this: is as we go into what we call the fourth turning, we realize that there is lots of technological changes going on, but there are cultural changes. Who would have thought that we'd ever be debating men, women? Like
Don't
it's
get me
it's
started.
mind blowing that we've all of a sudden decided that it's okay to teach 10-year-olds in school how to have sex, like boys with boys, and positions, and the best positions. Like, it's shocking that we have digressed to that level, but it is the end of an era. Now, I don't advocate that. It pisses me off. Got it. There's a lot of things happening in the world that I'm just not happy with. I'm looking at it going, this makes absolutely no sense. Yet, it's not just a Canada thing, it is an absolute global phenomena. Again, I think part of the fourth turning, the end of an era. So, what's our message here, Stephanie? I have my thought, but I want to hear from you. What is our message here? If we can just accept that, what is our message?
I don't know if we have a message, but I love the fact that we can have a conversation about it. And maybe that's what the message is to bring the conversation more forward in our lives and maybe in the lives of people who are listening, is that ask the question, if we look around, things are changing. I embrace change. I'm a change agent. I used to in my coaching, I used to call myself a change agent. And I was really all about helping people adapt and grow and look at their skill set and bring whatever forward that needed to be brought forward, and leaving behind what you need to leave behind, etc. So I embrace change, so it doesn't scare me. So I want to be a place where maybe, people can have a conversation about change. What is changing in your life? What's changing? What changes do you like and what changes do you don't like? Or do you just don't like change, period? Because we get so comfortable in being comfortable that sometimes we don't know we're uncomfortable. And what is that line? I love that line about, if we, something about, change is going to happen, externally, internally, it's going to happen. We don't stay still. We don't stay static. We're changing, we're growing on every breath. So as an end of an era comes up in a conversation, maybe just throw out some questions that we could maybe ask each other, or people that are listening could ask their friends and family, that could maybe prepare for a new opportunity or a new possibility that could be opened up. We're looking at different ways of transitioning businesses and where we're living and how we're living and who we're hanging out with. And I'm really excited about the opportunities. And yes, I'm grieving some of the letting go, and I'm missing some of the people that just aren't jiving with us anymore. But I'm wondering if this is what this podcast could be about, is let's come up with some conversation and some questions about what do we want to know about change? What do we want to know about what are we leaving behind? And what are some of the possibilities that are coming forward?